Welcome back, tribe. Today's episode, I wanted to talk to you about why leaving America was good for my mental health and my wallet. The elephant in the room is safety, of course. I can't lie to you and say it doesn't feel good to live in a society where you don't have to watch your back when you go outside. You don't have to watch your back when you do something as simple as shopping. You could be out all hours of the night. There's no crime problems, rampant drug or gang problems. That makes a huge difference on your mental health. Just knowing that you're in a safe, secure environment allows you to relax emotionally, psychologically. Allows you to really just enjoy life without worrying about things that you shouldn't be worrying about in a, first world society where law and order should be the norm. But I bring this up first because I'm seeing how crazy it is for some of the guys DMing me and saying how they can't stand living in the UK anymore. They can't stand living in parts of Germany or France, or a bunch of the guys from America, and just how much society around them in just the 5-10 years or so has degraded completely, where the communities they're living in are unrecognizable. And it seems everything's getting worse. It's not something you could vote your way out of. So you're in an environment that's stressing you out. And this stress, not only does it mess with you mentally, but it messes with the thoughts you have, the quality of the ideas that come into your brain. All the advanced concepts you're able to crystallize in your mind and turn them into reality. When something as simple as safety, security, law and order, justice is missing from the place that you live, it definitely affects your ability, man, to have good, clear thoughts. I can tell you when I first moved here to Romania, the first thing that was shocking to me that I was used to in America was homeless encampments, just homeless people everywhere, just tents everywhere. You don't recognize, or I should say, you don't realize just how much that's been normalized to you in America. I'm going to turn the camera around for you. You can see I'm just walking, dude, live. There is no tents. There's no trash everywhere. There's no homeless encampments. This is a large park up ahead. You don't see any of that crazy shit here. Look, across the street. I mean, check it out, man. That's a park right up ahead. If this was America, you know exactly what this would be looking like right now, or what this sidewalk would be looking like. Being in a clean environment that's safe like this, considering the stark contrast of what we're used to in the United States, has an enormous effect on the way you think about life, how you see your future, and what plans are for that future. I'm more relaxed now. I feel like I could plant down roots here. I feel like this is a safe place to start a family. Like this is a great place to raise children. Like I don't have to worry about my wife going out shopping, buying something at the grocery store and something happening in the parking lot, or being carjacked at a gas station, or avoiding a bad part of town. There's no real bad parts of town, not bad in the sense of like American bad, like no-go zones in parts of the UK, Sweden. There's no real no-go zones here. Some places are just more decrepit than others, but for the most part, it's just a unified people, some living a little poorer than others. But there is no hostility here amongst one another in sense of like, let's be honest, man, there are racial tensions going on in the multicultural West right now. People aren't integrating properly, not respecting each other's cultures. You have mass unchecked migration and it's causing social upheaval. That's the elephant in the room. They don't want us to talk about it. A lot of us moving to these other countries are seeing homogenous society that's living together without any issues. Japan is an example that we constantly cite. They have anti-immigrant policies. It's very strict on how you can live there in terms of applications for visas, and you need a lot of qualifications, but look how polite, how well-mannered society is, and we use them as a model of what everybody else should look like. And that is in large part due to the hegemony. There's a form of camaraderie here, some brotherhood, nationalism. They say that's far right mentality, and being a nationalist is somehow negative, but obviously society runs better when there is a singular group of people with a singular culture and they tolerate everybody else. There's a big difference. They haven't had their boundaries completely evaporated, stepped all over and redrawn by, what else could you possibly call it? A mass wave of migrants that fail to assimilate, and it causes the destabilization of the society. Why do you think people say Paris looks like shit now? Why do you think people say, the UK is unrecognizable, London looks like shit now, yada, yada. We all know what's happening. We see it on the news. If you haven't been paying attention, there's riots and crime and jackings and robberies and crazy shit like that happening all the time. People are dying to get out. It's no longer the utopia it used to be. It was never a utopia, but it was never a hellhole like this. So as far as mental health goes, just being in such an environment, man, that's extremely positive, that you feel good about the future. Helps you think about things you may not have otherwise. It helps foster these kinds of deep introspective thoughts. You see the world in a different light. It's no longer walking by a guy and, putting your hand in your pocket like you have a piece, or making sure you watch him extra close because something might happen. Being in a high trust society and just seeing every other man just like you getting ahead with their families, just people pushing baby carriages everywhere, and you can tell the atmosphere is so different. We're not looking at each other as enemies, we're looking at each other as fellow countrymen. That kind of energy is just missing from most of the West that's dealing with multiculturalism, whatever you want to call it, mass migration. Don't care what word you choose to use, whether you're on the left or the right. I can tell you simply, living in a country like this, the guys in Southeast Asia will tell you, the guys in Central Asia will tell you, all the way Balkan, Europe, all over the place where you go, where societies are safe, stable, monocultural, and are functioning exactly how we expect the West to function. That they are feeling the same thing. The hedonism, the materialism, all of that stuff is missing. People in these countries are typically much more family oriented, much more down to earth. They're more grounded in life. Family values matter. People are still religious. They still go to community service. They're still in church on Sundays. There's the communal aspect that's completely missing, like in the West. In America, for example, you might not even know your neighbor, but he's across the hallway from you in your apartment. We're so disconnected from one another. It just affects your mental health. That's why people report a record number, lonelier than ever, feeling more isolated than ever. It's just leading to depression, anxiety, all sorts of mental illness. We lack community. We lack togetherness. As men, we lack brotherhood. We lack a lot of the basic things that would make a person happy. It's not the material possessions. It's not the high salaries. It's not the hedonism, just indulging in dopamine, short-term dopamine that does nothing for you long-term. That doesn't make you content with where you are in life. It doesn't make you proud. You don't have a set direction. You're just aimlessly wandering through life. All that stuff exists here in foreign countries because the people are often surrounded by family and friends. They have large social circles. They're grounded and their mentality is always usually the same. We don't have extreme polarization like you would, for example, in politics in the United States. It's not like we can't talk about politics at the dinner table or God knows what else that's trending in America, the flavor of the month, where it's completely ripping apart already loose functioning families. The people here aren't invested in all that extra bullshit. It's just all that matters in life here is, do you have a roof over your head? Are you happy? Is the family healthy? Basic things like that. Health is wealth. Spending time, making memories and lasting experiences with family, friends, those deep connections, people understand that that's what truly matters here. Maybe it is because they have less. Maybe it is because they don't have those high salaries and consumerist mentality of the United States, for example. Like they need to buy things to make themselves feel better. People here are more frugal naturally by nature because the things they really want is good family relationships, significant others, marriages, children. That's what people are after. Little trinkets to buy or the materialistic culture in general is just not as appealing. It's basically become an addiction in the West. And that leads to keeping up with the Joneses kind of mentality where you're constantly competing with one another based on the material possessions you own. It's never about how well you're doing. It's just about how much stuff you got. It's not about how good your relationship with your woman is. It's about the next woman you could swipe right on. It's about how many women you slept with. For the ladies, it's the same thing. How many guys did they bag? What simp bought me what bag, and how much I managed to extract out of this man. It's a joke, dude. Relationships are a joke in the West. Family values are a joke in the West. And you're surprised why people experience massive boosts in mental health and happiness. And another aspect that ties into the wallet portion is cost of living. Because it's so much cheaper here day to day, because the prices aren't as outrageous, it does take a load off your shoulders. And I mean, it's a huge burden that completely evaporates when you're no longer surviving paycheck by paycheck. So when I say I'm happier psychologically and my wallet is also happier, I'll explain to you guys as I walked by my apartment so you could just see basic cost of living things, and you can understand just how much money you could possibly be saving by living in a place like this. We've covered a ton of episodes like that before. I mean, look, man, this area is super clean. What you're seeing right here, guys, is just a normal part of Bucharest, and you can get a place easily, one of these apartments with a shop right down the street, 400 euros a month, 350 euros a month. Just take 350 bucks, 400 bucks. The dollar has basically reached parity with the euro. That's nuts, dude. And it's clean. Look, not a single homeless person. No tents, nothing. Everywhere you turn, it's clean. I go get my haircut down the street behind us. The gym is just a short walk up this road. Buildings are fairly new. The architecture is being revamped. Even if they're a little bit older like this, they're being resurfaced and remodeled. I mean, look at this. It's nothing like what they're describing to keep you stuck in that trap, to keep you in that nasty place that gets you angry, that gets you afraid, that makes you look at everybody suspicious. You know, that's what's crazy about America. Right before I left, is like your neighbor is your enemy now. That's essentially what politics and what the culture wars have done to everyday Americans. It's like everybody, every stranger is somebody to be looked at negatively as if they're bringing you harm in some way or another. How do you expect a society to function and thrive if everybody sees each other as the enemy? That feeling doesn't exist overseas. I can ask somebody if I need help for something. I can literally start up a conversation with anybody, anywhere, about anything, and they'll be welcoming. They'll try to invite you to their house for a meal. It's not weird for you to strike up a conversation here, and people literally like you so much to say, come over, let's have a beer, let's have a drink, let me treat you in my place as a guest, where they'll like bring out a buffet of food for you. The hospitality, it's just so different here. When would you ever do that with a stranger you just met in America? It's not the norm at all. The first thought that would cross your mind is, what if this person's like a serial killer? So yeah, being around people that are so positive thinking, that do have family planning, moral values, you know, solid extended family structures, makes you want to long for the same thing. It rubs off on you. You change the way you think. The perceptions of what's important changes. And it's such a boon for your mental health. I'm telling you, using material possessions to make yourself happy, the hedonistic consumerist culture that we're in America, it's basically designed to keep you emotionally dependent on those little things, to keep you consuming, to keep you buying, to keep you depressed. Because the more emotional you are, the easier you are to manipulate. The easier it is for you to be manipulated by an advertisement to purchase something that you think might make you happy. Family is what makes you happy. Friends is what makes you happy. Your woman makes you happy. Your children make you happy. A smile on their faces, excellent, makes you happy. All that stuff is somehow seen as beneath you in America. Starting a family, having a wife, thinking about kids, raising them, all that stuff. Think about all the arguments that we have when it comes to family planning, starting your legacy. It's so negative. People are at each other's throats. Here, you're in societies where that seems alien to everybody else. Like, what? Are you weird? Are you dysfunctional? Are you antisocial? I guess that's the way to describe America. It's just one giant country of antisocial people, or antisocial behavior from people, or the culture itself has antisocial properties, and it's leading to complete degradation. And I just arrived at the gym. I won't harp on some more. I'll just let you guys see. This is the gym. Look at this building. For sale in English. That's another thing. It's very easy in these countries to deal with English speakers only. Obviously, it's the business language of the world. This is where I go to the gym, you guys. It's only, look, just new buildings everywhere. Here's a single old one. Again, it'll probably be renovated. And you have this little park you can walk through. This little like private green section area. I've never been in here. It smells great. The pine trees and shit. Everything is well manicured. I mean, what the hell? I'm assuming this is the little private area for these apartments and maybe those apartments across the street. I'm not even sure. A little walkway here. Bro, where's the tents? Where are the homeless people? Where are the needles? I know you know what I'm talking about if you live in a big city in America. This is not even crazy for this country. This is just standard, bro. Everything is clean like this. The dirtiest areas I've seen here are like some of the cleaner areas in America. Do you have any idea what that does for your mental health? Your psychology? How invested you feel in the community when it's being taken care of? Look at this. This is insane. We just took a long walkway to get the gym entrance is right there by all that yellow shit, some weird polygons. Bro. And they're asking me, are you ever gonna come back to America? You must have lost your fucking mind if you think I'm gonna overpay to live in a fucking dump that has absolutely no future, is experiencing monetary flight. The society is getting more dangerous. Everything about America is just pointing downwards. The empire, it feels like it's falling. We don't have leadership. We have managers, and they're shitty ones at that. They're driving the country into the ground. If everything was going great, I would never even come out here. But it isn't, boys. That's the truth. Instead, you got everybody else. Look how beautiful this is. That would rather travel to other countries. Take advantage of the power of the dollar while you still can. Live a life well above the means. Instead of surviving, you could finally be thriving. Who the fuck doesn't want that to be reality? I'll just film the last minute here, walking into the gym. I'm gonna go have a workout and then we'll finish the rest of the video as I walk back through the apartment, talk about cost of living a little bit. So dope. We'll continue shortly. Welcome back, boys. Welcome back. All right, so we just arrived back at my apartment. Just had a 2-hour plus workout, burning around 900 calories. Just a quick tour of what it looks like. All of it is furnished, by the way. You don't pay for any of this stuff. This apartment specifically is going for 1,000 euros a month, and this is considered on the more pricier end, by the way. And that's a bathroom and a bedroom, same thing. It's all furnished, everything's good to go. And you get a little terrace with the view outside, whatever. The point is, when you factor in the apartment, and by the way, let me back it up for a second. So there are apartments literally probably one street down that cost 400 euros, 350 euros. Honestly, I just chose this one because it has a little bit more modern and updated furniture. That's it. That's why I'm paying more. Now, when you factor in food, I mean, I can show you, I ordered, and this is what I eat every day if I don't have time to cook for whatever reason. Peep this out. I order from this company right here. It's called Salad Box. It's chicken, diced carrots, avocado, sweet potatoes. Let's see if we can open it just a little bit. There you go. Real very basic, quick, healthy meal. Tomatoes, chicken, all that stuff. Just so you can see the price. So I ordered 2 of these. Peep it out. 64 lei for 2 of these. And that's delivered, by the way, with tip. Now, if we do the currency conversion here, 2 meals is 14 bucks. Delivered with the tip. And again, that's if you're feeling lazy and you don't want to cook. If you want to cook for yourself, that price goes way down. But you're not going to find any decent, healthy food like that in America. 2 meals for $14. That's one example. So when you factor in the cost of transportation doesn't exist, where I live, I could walk to anything, anywhere. Either it's a mall, gas station, grocery store, the gym, hospital, whatever it is that you need, you can walk to it. So transportation turns into zero. The only time you'll pay for transportation is if you want to use something public. For example, an Uber to take you somewhere further you wouldn't want to walk. The Ubers are like $3, $4 to whatever destination you want. And they're here within 60 seconds because this is a high density area. There's always Ubers available. So the off chance that you need an Uber every once in a while to go to a faraway store, whatever it is that you would want to go to, $4 here and there. All to say is that once you factor in all your living costs, you can make it here easily with $2,000 a month. Easy. and your quality of life would increase. It's crazy that you could get a place like this for $1,000 with a parking spot in a hot spot of town. Again, remember, I'm living in the upper class area, a little bit rich, but that's still ridiculously affordable for most people if they have a remote income. Even some guys on their pension, if it's high enough, could afford to come out here and no problem. You would live great. Food, going out to restaurants, it's probably a third of the price in America. You can eat a nice ass steak with your woman, entree for two, plus dessert, plus drinks. You could maybe spend $100. We're talking nice restaurant. And that would be easy, $300-$400 in America for a nice steakhouse. The only things that are expensive here is random luxury items. I guess you could say cars, electronics, gas. Those things have always been more expensive in Europe. There's extra taxes on top of them. But how often do you purchase electronics? How often do you purchase vehicles? And gas, yeah, that might hurt you if you need to drive everywhere like an American would drive. The distance between places here renders driving basically obsolete. You can walk almost everywhere. Public transportation is cheap. I just mentioned Uber. Now that's private transport. I haven't talked about the buses or the subway system, which is like, imagine if the Uber is $4. Imagine how cheap the public transport is. So to summarize, $2,000 a month, more than enough here. The fact that you get to save so much money and your quality of life goes up, you're able to enjoy life more. You're not stressing about money. You're not stressing about bills. The quality of the products you're getting is good. You're not missing any amenities from America. You get to live your life and be surrounded by people that aren't ideologically possessed, aren't obese, aren't tribal with extremist views, very family oriented, still religious, believes in God, Christian nation, Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox primarily. People still go to church every Sunday, full of families, baby carriages, safe, clean environment. I would say it's at least worth considering. Bare minimum, take a flight, travel around the world, go to Southeast Asia, go to places in Eastern Europe, go Central Asia, parts of Africa, just travel around the world, man. Find a place that really speaks to you. It could be the thing that rejuvenates some life into you. Maybe you're surrounded by bad people in a bad environment and just draining the motivation, the ambition out of you. Maybe you need to surround yourself in a completely new place. Maybe you just got to feel that novelty of something new and breathe fresh, clean air and the feeling of being in a brand new city and opportunities abound, all that stuff. It could help you light a way for which direction you need to take in life. And for me, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And everybody I've talked to that's either traveling or doing the expat/passport bro thing all say the same thing. They're glad they left. They should have done it earlier. Why did it take so long? If you've taught yourself some skills that are remote, think about this seriously. If you don't have any remote skills, you should heavily consider investing in yourself, teaching you something that's marketable and getting out as soon as possible, because unfortunately, America now sucks the life out of you and the American dream no longer exists, but it does in other parts of the world. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff for the algorithm. Channel's new, we're still growing it. Appreciate everybody that's been buying shirts. Help support the store directly. We haven't sold out to any companies. Likewise, everybody, thank you so much, all the new people joining on school. If you're a new member of the private community, welcome. Can't wait to speak with you guys tonight. We're meeting 4 times a week right now. I have a call coming actually in the next few hours. Excited to get to know you, share some wisdom, learn some things, and hold each other accountable, get ahead in life. We'll see you on the next one.